So in this area, the number one weed that we fight is water hemp, and it's resistant to most chemistries. HPPD inhibitors are still effective on it, but they're PPO resistant, glyphosate resistant, ALS resistant, and we don't have group 15 resistance in this part of the world, so that's a big plus. But other weeds that we fight are fall panicum. That's a very prevalent grass for this region that can be tough to control. We also fight cockleburr and morning glory, so some large-seeded broadleaf weeds that we're seeing more and more of every year, and also a weed that we haven't seen in many years starting to come back is shattercane. Now we have Acuron GT herbicide that can be sprayed post, so a popular program going forward will be Bicep 2 Magnum herbicide or Lexar EZ herbicide down pre, followed with Acuron GT post, and that will be a very effective program, as Acuron GT is the industry leader in takedown of weeds and also long-lasting broad-spectrum residual on the weeds that we fight in this region. We're in a herbicide bare ground trial, and as you can see, we have very heavy weed pressure with Palmer amaranth, morning glory, fall panicum, as well as common cockleburr. So very common weeds that we fight here in southern Illinois. And what we're going to look at is some post chemistries for corn. So these treatments had a pre-herbicide underneath them, but what we're looking at is how well did they knock down the weeds at the time of application, and also how well are they preventing new weeds from coming up. So right now we are in Degree Extra herbicide plus Caprino herbicide plus Roundup Power Max herbicide. And this is applied post-emergence, and we can see that the weeds present were not taken down by the post chemistry. We don't see new weeds coming up, but we did not take out the weeds that were there at the time of application, which is critical because a good post herbicide has to have good knockdown characteristics as well as good residual characteristics. And now we are taking a look at Acuron GT herbicide plus Atrex 4L herbicide. This treatment had the same pre-herbicide as the last treatment, so we kept things the same. And as you can see, the Acuron GT herbicide did a much better job of knocking down the weeds that were present at the time of application. You can also see that is doing an excellent job of preventing new weed emergence. So this is a very well-rounded post herbicide, as it has effective knockdown of emerged weeds and also has very effective broad spectrum residual to prevent new weeds from emerging. So Acuron GT herbicide is a novel herbicide. It's got 2 HPPD inhibitors in it, which no other products are going to have that. And what that brings you is better knockdown of emerged weeds, such as water hemp, morning glory, and some other broadleaf weeds. It's also going to give you better residual on some grass species such as fall panicum, which is a big issue in southern Illinois. And also you're going to get better residual on your large seeded weeds such as cockleburr, ragweed species, morning glory. So the beauty of having longer lasting and more broad spectrum residual versus some other post chemistries is you can spray earlier if you're a post only type applicator. And so what that means is if you spray earlier, there's less weeds that come up to compete with your crop, so you have better yield as well, because less time the crop has to compete with weeds, the more it will yield.